Hi everyone, this is Debbie at Color Everywhere, and I'm on today to make some little journals. So I hope a few people will come in and visit, and I'm going to go ahead and start because it's going to take a bit. So come on in, and for those that are watching later, thank you for coming and watching for a while. So I decided I wanted to make some little journals out of a spaghetti box. Hi Brenda, thanks for coming. So I started out with a spaghetti box, which was this size. Of course, it had a side on here. So it was this big. And I cut that in half and squared up the sides. So I had to cut them off a little bit. And they ended up being, get my ruler, ended up being 2.5 inches, about 1 and 5/8 inches, and 2.5 inches. And this is 5 inches tall. So they're going to be small size, but I think they'll be really cute, and they're going to be kind of chunky, chubby. So, like I said, there's a lot to get through, so I'm going to go ahead and start. So first of all, my idea is to do a crocheted edge on the cover. And then there's going to, the inside cover is going to be canvas that is fringed. So the fringe will stick out a little bit. It's not fringed yet, but the fringe will stick out a little bit or all the way around, probably about, maybe 1/4 inch. So you'll be able to see the crocheted edging on here. So we have to punch holes in the cover, crochet or do a blanket stitch around it, then crochet on the blanket stitch, then cut out the inside. Hi, made by Pam. Thanks for coming. And then cut this to size so that there's some overlap. So like this. Fringe the or even it up, fringe the edges, glue it in, and then there's going to be another piece of canvas. I think it's going to be a piece of canvas that will cover just like this, so it'll look, it'll just come to here, and it will also be fringed. And then it will be ready to do the insides. So I'm just going to show you the steps I took. I have two, and I'm making them very similar on the outside, so I can show you using this one. Now this is a little tool that I've had for a while. And you know what? Here it is. It's We Are Memory Keepers. It's a I believe it's meant to do to punch your spines is what it's meant to do. But I use it for all the different kinds of things that I crochet, so that let me pull one out over here so you can see. Like this, I crochet a lot of envelopes and tags. So this one's not finished yet, but here's an envelope. So it makes really nice and neatly punched holes. Before that, I was using a hole punch, and believe me, it wasn't fun. So basically what you do is, this is just little plastic screws, knobs, and this totally lifts off. So you have a lot of places you can punch, plus this is a little, a little angled tray to do your, you can set your spine in there and do it. Now, I really don't use that for that, but you can. That's what it's meant for. So what I do, and I do this with my envelopes also, I keep one side attached loosely so that I can lift it up. Then the little circles on here, see how some of them have circles around them? The holes have circles around them. I line depending on what I'm punching. If I'm punching lightweight paper like this envelope, I'll put the hole a little bit farther in so it has more paper to grab. Because paper's paper, it's going to tear. so you give it a little bit of more chance. On this, it's pretty thick. This is a piece of, it's like burlap, and it was on a heavy piece of card, so it already was heavy, and then if you include the box, that makes it even heavier, so it's pretty stiff. So I can afford to go closer to the edge, and I'm going to show you this on the wrong side. I punch on the right side because when you punch, it pushes a little bit out on the back, and I didn't want that on the right side. But I'm going to show you on the wrong side so you can actually see what's happening. So I just put this in here and line it up with those little circles so that it's evenly spaced across, and I also try to get it so that the point has a hole right in the middle of that corner. And then once I have it aligned where I want it to be, and if it looks straight, then I can put this little screw back in. And this is pretty thick. Usually it's more of a piece of paper that I'm using, but this is pretty thick. So now that's in there. I can pull it out, but it's not, it's not going to fall out. And then it comes with this little pokey tool, which works just fine, but this is my regular one, and I find it more comfortable. And if you're poking a lot of holes, this one's more comfortable. So you just go through there, you just go along there and just punch into the hole. And you're not going to hit the table or anything because it has a back. This tool has a back on it that keeps you from hitting anything. So you just go along, punch all those holes. And fortunately, this is just the right size where both of my corners are in the right place. Then when you're done with that, you take it out. You can't just flip it back in there. You can lift it up. And again, do the same thing. I line up my corner hole. And check my distance to make sure everything's straight. Now, if my corners don't come out exactly straight, I can fudge them. But this middle part is going to be, in this case, the spine is, you're not going to see the holes anyway, so I can fudge it there. And then you just go along and punch again. Now you can't see it from this side. Normally you can, but because this is a thick piece here, you can't really see it. No, dear, it's all right. I hope y'all are hearing me okay. I'm so used to hearing the saw that I don't hear it. Okay. So I've got holes in here, and I would have holes all the way around, and I'm done with that for now. Better put this in here, or I'll lose it. I can't really complain that the saws are going because he's making me a really beautiful yard swing. Is it bothering y'all very much? So now I could go back with my tool because this, you can see the holes aren't that big. I could go back with my tool and make them real big so that I could use my crochet hook and just crochet straight onto there. I could do that. But because this is so stiff, it's awkward anyway to hold it when you're crocheting. So I'm just going to do a blanket stitch around it first, and then I'll crochet off of the blanket stitch, and it'll be much easier. Now normally I would start someplace that's not going to be real noticeable, but I'm just showing you how to do it on this one, so I'm just going to start right here. It doesn't really matter. And what I do normally is I tie this just so that it'll hold it and not slip out. Then it's just a regular blanket stitch. And with the blanket stitch, you come up through the hole. Now see, the hole's already there, so the needle goes through real easy. And this is kind of a larger size needle with the eye, because I'm using crochet thread is what I'm using here. Let me go back and hold on. I forgot what I was doing. So with the blanket stitch, you come up through the hole, you take this back single thread, throw it around it, and I kind of put my thumb there because it helps, and then you pull it through, and it's going to make, this is what it's going to look like right here. The object is to get a space up here that I can crochet through, that's right on the edge of the cover. Hi, Mina. I got it at Walmart. I was looking for something else, and I'd been fussing and fussing because I was so tired of punching holes with my little, I was actually using a metal hole punch, and it was so tedious, and the holes were a little bigger than I liked. And I saw that, and it is perfect. It is perfect. So anyway, the object is to get your threads up at the top. Now, if you don't think you can do a stitch like this, it's not hard, but if you don't think you can do a stitch like this, you can just do like a whip stitch and go over it. Whoops. Because all you're trying to do is get something, you just do it like this and just keep going round and round, because you're just trying to get something that you can crochet through, okay? But it's not really hard. The blanket stitch is not hard at all, and it makes a real nice, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you could find one there, but that's where I found it, and it hasn't been that long ago, so they may have them. But it's I don't know if you heard me say it, it's We Are Memory Keepers, so you might find it on their website too, if they're still around. But the blanket stitch, you just come up through the hole, wrap your back thread once, just lay it over it, and then pull it. Pull it nice and snug, and it'll make a nice little place at the top edge to crochet through. And you're always going to get tangled up because you want your thread to be long enough to get you all the way around without tying a knot. You can tie a knot and hide it later, but it's nicer if there's no knot until you're done. So that's how you do this part. Needle up through the hole, whip that around there, just sort of lay it on there, and then pull. And see how neat that looks? See, you could even just use that finish and not crochet. It looks that nice. And if you want it to look more substantial, use a double thread. I'm using a single thread, but you can use a double and it'll look even thicker and show up more. Okay, so that's the next step. So obviously I cut this out, I glued these on just the cover, just the front and the back. See, I didn't glue it on the spine at all because I'm going to cover it with fabric. There's nothing on the inside yet. That's just the back of the spaghetti box. Okay, and then I just did this blanket stitch all the way around. Okay, and on mine I wanted to crochet around it because it's going to show up nice. Whoops, it's going to show up nice against this canvas once it's fringed, I think. So all I'm doing is one row of single crochet. I'm not going to give you a crochet lesson because that takes too long, but it's just regular crochet with crochet thread. And I found that the best ratio of stitches is every other blanket stitch gets 2. So I'll go 1 single crochet and go to the next one, 2 single crochet. Now, if you're a crocheter and you've never crocheted on something like this that you can't really bend, it's going to feel real awkward. So just be aware of that. It does get better, but it's still really awkward. Sometimes I have to switch and hold my needle like this I usually hold my needle like a pencil, or my hook, I should say. So now, when I get to the, and also whenever you are doing your punching your hole, I'm sorry, punching your holes, whenever you're doing your blanket stitch, when you get to the corner, you're going to do 2 stitches in the corner hole. Let's see if it shows on here. Okay. So you can see I came along through here. I went in one stitch, and then I sort of just let my thread fall around that corner, and then I came over and I went again in that same hole and did another stitch. So what that does is it gives me this loose stitch on my corner, because when you get to the corner, when you're crocheting, you need to put 3 single crochets in the corner. Otherwise, it's going to curl up and not lay flat. So you want it to lay flat like this. You don't want it to be doing that. You want it to lay nice and flat so it looks pretty. So I got this far to go. I'm just going to do this real quick so you can see how it goes. So I did one in that one. Now I'm to the corner. I'm going to do 3 single crochets in here. 1, 2, 3. And it's going to seem a little loose, but that's okay. Then when I get around here, I just kind of, it's not an exact science. I could do, because you don't know when you get to this corner, you don't know if the last stitch on this side is 1 single crochet or 2 single crochets. So when you come out of that corner, you're just kind of have to figure it out. If you put 1 and it seems really tight, then put 2. If it doesn't seem tight, just put 1 and then keep going from there. Whatever you start, keep going. So I put 1 this time. And there's 2 in this one. Maybe. Oh, no wonder my thread's all tangled over here. I knew something was going on. Okay, who showed up? Angie Brown at the Mexican restaurant. So I'm gonna, just to make it easier to crochet, I'm gonna fold this up because I can, because there's a fold there, and that way it won't be quite as cumbersome. Okay, where am I? I got 2. Okay, 1, 2. 1, okay, maybe 2. 1, 2. And I don't normally crochet this funny, but like I said, you've got all this over here and you have nowhere to go with it. So you just kind of do the best you can. Come on. And you know how it goes whenever somebody's watching you. So anyway, I do this on tags. I do it on envelopes, all different sizes of envelopes. Sometimes I just go this far, just 1 row. Sometimes I might do 2 or 3 rows and do something real fancy. Sometimes I put tassels on them, or, whatever. Almost done here. Okay, so now I'm back to the starting spot. And you just end off like you normally would with a slip stitch in the first chain, or first crochet. And that's all I'm going to put on there. So I'm going to give myself a nice tail so that I can weave it in, and it will disappear. So now if you have a hard time going around the points, you can actually snip just a tiny point off of there, make it just a tiny bit rounder, and it usually makes it look nicer too when it's laying down. I'm just barely snipping the point off. That was fast, Mina. You went to Walmart already? So I'm going to go ahead while I'm at this point and weave this in. I got another needle. Here's one. So it takes a little while to do. I think it took me 30 minutes to punch the holes, do the blanket stitch, and then do as much crochet up to here. So it didn't take very long. That wasn't too bad. And I'm just going to run this back through what I just did and hide the thread. It is a warm day here, but it's very beautiful outside. Got a birthday dinner this week for my granddaughter. And I think that's all I have on the calendar that I can remember. So it should be a fairly busy crafting week. If no dogs get sick and no catastrophes happen. Okay. So I'm just, sort of weaving that through the crochet and clipping it off. That's all it needs. Okay. So on this one, that part's done. Now normally I'd be doing 2 of these exactly at the same time, but this time I'm not going to do that because I don't want you to have to see that twice. Okay, so now what I did was I took a piece of canvas. Was a substrate, you have punch, stitch, crochet. This is a spaghetti box cut in half. So each of these are 5 inches tall. And this was the actual spine, the side of the spaghetti box. So it was, like that big. So, and then this is a burlap. It's like burlap, but it was glued onto a heavy, kind of a medium weight card of some kind. Probably thick as a spaghetti box. So I've got the burlap and probably 2 thicknesses of spaghetti box. That's how thick that is. But you can do it with whatever you want. So this is actually the inside of the spaghetti box. Okay. Okay, so now this is, for those who weren't here, this is going to be on the inside like this, and this part around here will be fringed. Yeah, it'll work on a tea box. If you don't think it's heavy enough, then just, add to it. And I don't know if you saw this or not, but normally I'm crocheting on paper. Like this is just heavyweight copy paper. You just have to be a little bit more careful, but it's the same process. But on this one, instead of doing the blanket stitch, I just crocheted straight onto it. because they're small enough to where I could hold it. The reason I didn't on this one is because it's too stiff and it gets in your way when you're trying to crochet. Okay. All right. So to make the inside cover, I just let me use this one. I just laid this down and drew around it. I put it as much as I could see was straight when it was on a bigger piece, and then just drew a pencil line around it so I knew exactly the size. Then I went back and found started pulling the strings to get down to the straight of the grain. So I don't know if you can see it, maybe not, but this end is barely fringed at all. This end is a little more fringed. So once I get to where there's a line going all the way across with no stray threads, no extra threads, I just cut that little bit of fringe off. I do the same thing on the other side. I'm actually going to do it on all sides. Now see this one, you can tell it's cut crooked because the fringe is real skinny comes to right to the point, and this one is longer. So I can tell that is kind of crooked. And also the fabric, the canvas, has a tendency to be a little off kilter. So you have to straighten it out also. But I do this part first. So you just grab a string that's loose and start pulling until you get it to fringe all the way across, even if it doesn't look straight at first. So that's fringed all the way across. Now I'm going to cut it right close to I'm cutting right down to where it's not fringed, to where the next string is, basically. You don't want to cut the string if you can help it, but if you do, it's not a catastrophe. And so you do that all the way around. This end was pretty close. Okay. Now, let's see how straight this is. Yeah, this piece is nice and straight. My big piece wasn't. It was a little wonky. So this is probably going to be too big, but at least I know that all the sides are straight. Oh, thanks, Mina. I appreciate that. So see, it's going to go here, like so. Okay. And this piece will go on the inside. So this is a lot of fringe. That's going to be a lot of fringe. So, well, let's see. I don't know, maybe not. I'm going to go ahead and fringe it and see how it looks. If it's too much fringe, I can trim the fringe down. I just want it to peek out a little bit, you know, from the front, behind the front. And the reason I like doing it like this, I've done some bigger journals like this too, and I really like the way it came out because you get a solid something on the inside. It's glued right to the edge of this. I won't glue the crochet, but I'll glue it right to the edge of the cardboard. So there's no finishing on the inside. That's all that it is. You just glue it straight to this, and it's done. So that's what we're going to do. I'm glad you restrained yourself, Mina. Now, these lines are not right anymore because when I drew them on there, I didn't know exactly what was straight. So I'm going to draw new lines just so I know how far to fringe it. And I'm going to actually use this one as a pattern because it's easier, because the crochet won't be in the way. Because I want to fringe it all the way to the edge of the board. So this looks fairly straight. Here we go. Pencil. Pencil. So this is just a guideline, is what I'm trying to say, to show me how far to fringe it. Now, if I wanted to, I could paint this canvas, but it does make it quite a bit stiffer. So that's my goal. So all I do now is I just sit here and fringe. It doesn't take too long. It's not very big, so once I get some good edges going here, it'll be pretty fast. Now, if you don't want to go to all this trouble to get the straight edges and you want to fringe something like this, you can do it on a crooked piece. You know, on a piece that's not straight. What happens is you'll have like a string that goes this far and then one pulls out and then one that goes this far, you know, to make it level. So it's really just as easy to do it like this. This still isn't straight. If your fabric isn't straight, take the opposite corners and pull, just like you do when you sew with sewing, to get yourself straightened out. I'm going to look over here and I'll show you. I'll lift this up. Now let's see, how unstraight is it? See how it's skewed? See how that goes down and this goes up? It's not cut crooked, it's cut straight because I'm going with the grain lines. That's how it was woven. So I know for instance that this edge right here is absolutely straight. It's not, you know, tilted. It's straight right along that line. But now if I look here, look how off that is. And up here, it'll be the opposite. And see, this side looks pretty straight. So you take the opposite corners where it's skewed, these two corners, and that's where you pull. You pull on the bias. And you just keep pulling until it's straight. Now that's closer. See down here? That's closer. I can stand a little bit more. And all you're really doing is straightening out the grain of the fabric. The grain means the way, the straight lines it was woven on. Okay, so now, see that? Look how different. So I'm going to I put this on here because I think it's easier for the camera. But see, this still doesn't look straight to me with this. I think that is still off. So where's my book? I'll do that again. Because it was skewed, so when I laid it straight on one edge, it wasn't really straight. There we go. See, you can see the difference right there. See that? It's just not that much. Yeah, that looks better. Now I wonder if I can erase some of this. I actually can. It's probably not going to matter, but it might show up a little bit. Of course, against that brown, though, it's probably not going to show. Sometimes you make more of a mess than you fix. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go around this real quick. Did anybody remember making placemats like this in high school and home ec class? I really didn't like home ec class. I already knew how to do all the stuff everybody else was hemming and hawing about. I started making my own clothes when I was 11. So they took like 2 months to make a dress. Mine was done the first week. You know? Mine was done and I was already wearing it. They were still cutting stuff out. But everybody's got to learn somehow. Hope everybody's going to have a nice weekend. We talked about going to the fireworks display. And then I got to thinking about the dogs. He wanted to take them, and I said, no, definitely not. One of them gets car sick every time she goes someplace, so she'd be starting out bad. And the other one hates noises, so she'd be a basket case. So the more I thought about it and tried to figure out what to do, the more I thought, I don't even care. I'm not going. I haven't looked at the swing yet. I just glanced at it once or twice as I was walking by, but I haven't really looked at it. But I bet it's going to be pretty. This is the third or maybe the fourth one he's made this year. So we're just getting one for us. I think he's going to make two for us. Put them in two different parts of the yard. Yeah, Mina, what did you end up getting? That's a good question. Inquiring minds want to know. See, this goes pretty fast if you don't get greedy and try to take too many at once. As the fringe gets longer, it gets a little bit harder to pull more than one at a time. I decided I was going to fill these little journals with all kinds of paper. So I'm going to look around and just pull out from scrap paper and different kinds of papers that I have here available. And then I'll use up some of those. Yeah, I think this print's going to be too long. A pamphlet with pockets and paper. I just got my box yesterday from last month, and I had forgotten that I won a box of lace. Oh my word, it was so cool. I don't win things very often, so I was pretty excited. So I guess we'll just stay home and enjoy the neighbors' fireworks. They'll probably have them on tonight. They always are so loud. Right out in the middle of the street, in front of our house. So see, now I've got this nice fringe. Let's see how it looks. It might be too long. An owl cluster. Oh yeah, that was a cute one. You know, I make so many of them that sometimes I forget what's been sold. Because once I make it, it's kind of out of my mind. Oh, when do you see the ones I got coming up on the 16th? Some clusters, some big clusters, or I call them edgies. I don't know, that might not be too long. It's kind of cute. A little bit too long. But yeah, the ones, oh, I actually still have them here. You want to see some of them? These won't be coming up till next sale, which won't be till, I think, the 16th. I'll just lay them out here and you can see them. Came out really cute. Oh, you can't see them through the, there. Here's this one. These are kind of big. See how big are these? These are, so this one's 7 by 2.5. That's about the average size. Oh, I can't get in the right place. I like putting these on the edge of the pages. And these are made from my jelly plate roll-off papers. So like this background right here is jelly plate. You know, my brayer from the jelly plate rolled onto a book page and then folded up and used. I do that a lot. I was using a lot of orange that day, I guess, because I have a lot of orange, but I like it. And there's buttons sewn on. So these are packaged up and ready to box up. And then I have these. These are all Oriental or Asian, however you want to call it. These are really pretty, I think. No, the padded bookmarks, whose were they? No, they weren't mine. Were they? Trying to think, were they Caroline's? I love this one. It's got these fish on here. And then the background looks like bubbles. Huh. So anyway, that's the first thing going in the new box. So it takes a while to do all that stuff, you know. Yeah, I think those padded bookmarks would make really cute, like Keisha was saying, really cute booklets or little books, something. They were very cute. So anyway, back to this. Where was I? Am I here? I'm going to fringe a little bit more on this one and then trim it down. Then I think I'll be good. Okay. Now I think it's easier to trim it once it's glued down, so I'm going to glue it first. Yeah. Okay, where's my Fabri-Tac? Here it is. Now this canvas is thick enough to where it shouldn't show through with the glue unless I get it so heavy that it's ridiculous. So I'm going to try not to do that. Now normally when I make a journal, I leave like a 1/4 inch between the spine and the covers to give it plenty of room to fully open. I can't do that on here because my spine is already attached basically, and so I just have to go with the flow. Okay, whoops. Here comes the dicey part. Now there's no pattern on the canvas, so I don't have to worry about right side up and upside down and all that at this point. All I'm doing is trying to get it kind of centered. I'm trying to, I don't know if I'll have my farm journals ready to send for the next sale or not. I have 2 farm journals that are almost done. And then I'm not sure what big journals I'm going to start next. I have several ready to start. I have Circus Journal ready to start, but I can't seem to get excited about it. Okay, so I've glued this down and made sure it's nice and flat and even as I can. And now, while it's not dry yet, but I'm going to go ahead. I can trim my fringe to where I want it, and I think I want it about like that. So I'm just going to carefully go across here and try to stay even. It's like cutting your bangs. We all know what a disaster that can be. Been wanting to do some nature journals. Oh, and I want to do some travel journals. I haven't done any of those in a while. I've been doing a lot of small journals past month or so. I'm kind of shaky today. Drink some water. So this is just another little technique you can use. It doesn't have to be canvas. Any woven fabric that will fringe, you can do it with. Okay. This isn't sticking very well. Sometimes you have to go backwards. This is one of those times. If it doesn't stick this time, it's not going to stick. Come on. I need to fill my bottles. I have been gluing a lot. All right. I can really feel that glue under there this time. It was a good sale yesterday and Friday. I didn't think I was going to be in it yesterday because my box got there at the last minute. It's being stubborn. So I'm going to set that aside, let that dry a little bit. Find my lid so that doesn't dry. Get rid of these crumbs. I thought the dogs were fussing, but they're playing. Okay, now let's find some. Oh, wait, I gotta do this. Let's do this one real quick. This one doesn't need to be fringed very far. That might be all it needs. And I think I'm going to use some of this somewhere. Not sure how. See how that would look. I don't think it would show up enough. We'll see. We'll see. Who knows? All right, but this is going to dry. So now I'm going to start pulling some paper out. let's see, 5 inches is how tall it needs to be. I have to this in. What else here? Oh, well. Knock everything over. What is the problem here? Okay, let's see what's in here. Hi, Aunt Beck. How are you? Ah, here's some good stuff. Yeah, what I need is a ruler. Here's what we're doing, Aunt Beck. Making little journals out of spaghetti box. Skitty box. Now I have to see what spaghetti box. What's that word? Worthy. Spaghetti box worthy. That is. This is. You know, I really admire people who can just put a big mishmash of stuff together. I try to do it, but I get too matchy. I have a very hard time. I still try, but sometimes it's difficult for me. I don't know why. Because I like the way that kind of stuff looks. You know, when I see somebody else has done it, I think it looks really cool. But it's real hard for me to do. I kind of go on themes. So whenever I do something that's not a theme, it's more difficult. I don't think we need gnomes. maybe some of this. I'm pulling out stuff to fill 2 books. So if it looks like a lot, that's why. Oh, look at this. This is what the lady at the diner gave me when we went there. Hi, Angie. It's oh, it's that paper they put in the bottom of your basket and put your chicken or whatever on it. So it's not exactly like parchment paper, but it almost looks oiled. It's pretty cool. There are different ones. Let's see that are like, but there are different ones. So she just gave them to me. I was going to buy some from her, and she just gave them to me. I like them. Haven't used them yet. Okay. There's some stuff out of that one. That actually needs cleaned out and sorted out. And that'll be something for another day. Okay. Now let's see. There's these. What's in here? There is no theme, Beck. That's what I'm saying. It's hard for me when there's no theme, so I'm just trying to ignore it. Trying to ignore any idea of having a theme. Oh, where did I get that? Oh. No theme. That's why I admire Beth. She just goes in there and just starts. I'm theme oriented. Theme or color, one or the other. This might be almost enough. Along with some coffee dyed paper. I'm not going to use this because this is a theme. I'll use that though. All right, now pull out some. I got a roll over here to find the. Lost my paper. Where did I put it? Hold on. A second. I think one of the dogs moved my paper. I'll do this. Okay. Sorry about that. All right, now everything's got to be 5 inches, well, just under 5 inches tall. So we'll get this all over here, out of the way. Put this somewhere safe. A day in clay and a day in sewing. Oh, how fun would that be? I would love to have somebody to do that with. Not that we don't get together online, but it's always nice to have someone face to face. Okay, so our book is two 3/4 by 5. It's really 2 5/8. 2 5/8. Is that right? 2 5/8 by 5. So I want my papers to be 5 by 2 and 1/4. 5 by 2 1/4. That's my maximum size for my papers. So here we go. Well, actually, it'd be 5 by 4 1/2. 5 by 4 1/2. Perfect. Five by 4 1/2 unfolded. So this is 5. Let's see if that's right. It's kind of skinny, but it's going to be a little skinny book. No, that's not enough. 4. What did I say? 4 1/2. That's what I cut it. I cut it 4 1/2. Okay. So, but I did that because I just wanted to. Okay, so these are good. They don't have to be 4 1/2. They can be smaller than 4 1/2, but they need to be 5 because 5 is the height. 4 1/2, they could be shorter. You know, that will be fine. I don't care. Okay, so. Two 5/8. What am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. I have a brain freeze. 2 5/8 times 2. 2 5/8 times 2 is 4 10/8, which is 1. So that's 5 2/8. 5 2/8, which is 1/4. 5 1/4. So if I want it to be the exact size, it's 5 by 5 1/4. Let's try that and see how that goes. So I can do anything below that on the width. Well, that was hard. Math is not my forte. So let's see. I can't take for granted if these papers are straight either. Ah. That's 5 by 5 and what's the matter with me? Yeah. This shouldn't be this hard. Sorry, guys. Hi, Kimberly. How are you today? I think I have sale hangover from yesterday. Okay, that works really good. 5 by 5 1/4 is the best. I want to put in some short ones. Four and 1/4. Oh, thank you. I actually got that at the market a while back, and I'm sorry, but I don't know who made it. Hi, Sherry. I'm kind of quiet because I was doing math and I get confused. So I was quiet for a little bit. So we've gotten to this point on the little spaghetti box journal. I have two of them, but this is the one I'm showing. We got the cover glued on. We got it crocheted around the edge, and then I got that middle, the inside down, which for some reason doesn't want to stick right. I've glued it twice already. And so now I'm pulling out some pages to put in there. So hopefully in just a little bit we'll start making signatures. I don't know how I end up with so much crooked paper. Who knows? Oh, Sherry, that's nice. So anybody do anything big for the 4th of July? I think we've decided not to, for the sake of the dogs. So they don't get too worked up. Oh, that's right. Sherry got a bowl. Having a family cookout. They cook in the family? Our kids might come by tomorrow. And we have a birthday dinner Tuesday for my granddaughter. And that's probably going to be about it. Yeah, right, Pam. That's what I was saying earlier. Neighbors across the street, they have boys, several ages of boys. They usually do a bunch. It's loud enough just with that. We're far enough out of town that we might see some, but I can't remember. It seems like we saw some before, but they were real far away and you could barely see them, but I don't remember. Nope. This is taking really long. Mountain. Let's see, I forgot where you are, Mina. I should know, but I've forgotten. We have many places we could go and see fireworks. But it's just, you know, one of them things. I'm getting where I don't even like going where there's a bunch of crowds anymore. I never really did, but worse than it ever was. I just soon stay home. Make sure they're good and done, Angie. Seven and a half. Up. 3 and since I get a few more of these done, I'm going to just do some coffee dyed paper and then work on that one book. This takes too long. I know, they're so expensive. I like to watch them, but they're expensive. We used to go, we used to do it at church. Everybody would bring a bunch of fireworks and we'd do them all there for everybody to see because we have a big field beside the church. And it just got to be so dangerous. I have all the little kids running all over the place, and I finally said, I'm not going anymore. And I think they don't do it now. I think they stopped doing it. Hey, you better be nice to each other. Sorry. Someone got excited. Okay, now let me grab some. Where did I go with it? Oh, here it is, right here. They're playing, but sometimes they get, just like kids, they get a little bit too much. Too much. Let's see what I got here. What I have. I'm thinking it's going to be 3 signatures. So did I miss where you're from, Mina? I can't remember. I must have missed it. My kids are coming back from Oklahoma City tonight, where Olivia had her weekend tournament. She didn't win any medals, but she had a really good time. Made some real good contacts. Sometimes that counts more than winning, actually. That might be thick enough. Let's see. Because they're going to be doubled. Tucson. I've never been to Tucson, as far as I know. As far as I can remember. So Olivia, who will be 15 on Tuesday, is doing the pickleball circuit this summer. She's already been to, around St. Louis. There's been some. And she's been to, last weekend they were in Toledo, Ohio. This weekend they're at Oklahoma City. Next weekend they'll be at San Antonio. And then every month after that she has something out of town. She is the travelingest kid I have ever seen. And she's having a ball. Having a ball. She loves to play pickleball. I'll do a couple, 1, 2, 3 more here, and then whoops, almost cut that lady's head off. I've been wanting to hold out to go anywhere until October, when I'll be going to Mexico. So I've been wanting to go somewhere. I don't know where it would be, but on a trip or something. But it's so complicated because then I gotta have, somebody keep the dogs. And it used to be easier because we had a travel trailer, so the dogs could just go. We only had one dog in, but she loved it, so it was, pretty easy. All right, these will be all. The paper's so thin, it just wants to tear. Okay, that's gonna do. Now let's see if we can get this together. We've got 30 minutes, almost. What? No, you can't come over here if you don't know how to behave. So I'm just sorting these out for similar papers. They don't have to be exactly the same, but because you're going in 3 signatures, and that way it will sort of pull it together because there'll be similar papers in each signature. And even though they're kind of random, they'll still kind of blend together. Hope that makes sense. Oh, you live close to Arlene. I live, I want to say close to Nettie, but we're not that close. I need to get the map out and see how close we really are. Maybe someday I can go visit her. That would be fun. Hear the dogs grunting over there at each other. Where am I? I lost my track. Lost track of what I was doing. Oh well. Come on, I want to get done. I want to finish. This is build a journal in one day. Just throw it together. I don't know who got that before, but that one's getting it now. Okay, so now these aren't in a very good order because some of them have dark colored pages right next to each other, and I don't like to do that. So let's get them. So now I've sorted them into like pages, similar pages. I'm going to go back and fold them all. And just work on one signature at a time. Well, I hadn't really thought about it before Riri, but I had one the other day and I was getting ready to cut it up for, I like to use the boxes for tags because I like nice firm tags. I don't like floppy tags. And as I was getting ready to cut it, I thought, this would make two cute little journals. And I've been going through so much stuff trying to use up things that I've had for a long time. I mean, it's perfectly good products, but, you know, just haven't used it. So I'm doing that. And I came across these, excuse me, pieces of burlap looking stuff. Well, it is burlap, but it's real flat. It doesn't have any loose pieces on it. And they just happened to land on my desk at the same time, so I put them together. Are y'all being good? You being good? I've got them blocked where they can't get over here. Because somebody thinks this is where she needs to do her business. And I'm tired of cleaning it up, so I've got her blocked. She can't get in and she can't get in the sewing area. She can't get in the paper side. Oh, look at the little bees. Sure, go ahead. I don't mind. You know, I've watched so many things, people doing so many different things for so many years that I don't think any idea I have is mine. You better behave. There's your papa. He's coming over here to see about you. Maybe. I don't know. But, you know, after seeing so many things, you don't even know anymore if it's your own idea. You just take for granted that it isn't. And that way I'm safe. Oh yeah, Mina, that would be cute. All right, let's see. What do we want first? Well, look at that. Her face got crunched. Oh well. She'll be okay. She'll be fine. You. Mm. Ooh, that's a good idea, Angie. It's exactly what I would have been doing if I weren't streaming. We had fried chicken for lunch. Fried chicken and baked potato and some garlic Brussels sprouts. Oh my word. Very, very good. So I don't have really any rhyme or reason. I'm just trying to separate out the darks and lights and prints and what have you, so they're not all just bunched up together. Put that in the front. Okay. So there's signature number 1. It was kind of fat. Yeah, I think 3 of these would be great. Okay, let's work on the next one. I don't know if I'm going to make it. But you get the idea, even if I don't totally finish. And then these are just going to be sewn in with a pamphlet stitch, 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And after the stitch, after I stitch it in, then I'm just throwing everything over here like nobody cares. Then I'm going to once it's all stitched in, and you see the stitches here, then I'm going to take this and glue it over the stitches so it will look something like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So the inside's all finished. I might go back and put something over top of these because I guess that's going to show through. I don't know why that wouldn't stick right. I really had a lot of glue in there. but it won't really matter. I'll probably just go back in here and cover the, you know, put something in there to cover it up, and it'll be fine. And then that will go on there, and I probably will put something here on the spine. Now, if I change my mind and decide to put this on first, I could do that. Then put in my signatures, and you'd see the stitching out here. Just not sure what I want to do yet. I've been wanting to put some buttons on the spine. This one might be a good one to put some buttons on the spine. I have a lot of brown buttons. They would be pretty on there. I might do that instead, so you'd see the thread. I'm not sure. I have to see what looks the best. So I'll continue on with this. Do you have any questions about any of it? I realize it's pretty simple and straightforward, so, but you never know. Somebody might have a question. Let's see, which way am I going? I really want to get some, I really want to paint some tissue paper. And I just don't, right now I don't have, I really don't have a good space right now. I'm using my big tables to block the dogs out of the wood shop. So I can't really take them and use them right now. I need a big space to paint some tissue papers. Then I was thinking I have a watercolor, oh, what do you call it? A watercolor pad, like a pad. It's like a tablet, but I got it at Walmart, and it was like $10, and it's about 2 inches thick, maybe not quite that, but I thought about doing some of that instead of the tissue paper. Just put it in like a tray and wet it down. And what I'm talking about is to use up my old paints that just have little bits in the bottles. Add water to it and spray it or pour it or whatever on the papers. And that would probably make something similar to what Carolyn was doing this morning. If you saw that, she was using watercolors, but I think it would have a similar effect. I've been wanting to do some of that. I probably need to coffee dye some paper. Oh, I didn't see what Debbie Epps did. I'll have to go look. Oh my, now I forgot the lady's name again. Foil? The foil lady? I can't think of her first name. Or if I even knew her first name. But she does beautiful collage stuff. She makes most of her papers. And I saw her doing the dump the paint on thing with tissue paper. And you do it on a plastic surface so you can peel it up when it's dry, because it's really wet. So you have to be able to set it somewhere to dry or leave it somewhere to dry. And that's the space I don't have right now, too. So if I do anything like that, it's going to have to be on a smaller scale. Or just wait until I have the space. Okay, let's see. I want this to be the first page. And this. See, I'm trying really hard not to be too persnickety. can get really persnickety. And that takes a long time, even longer than this, when you start getting persnickety. I'm just sort of watching the color and mixing up the text and the music. Bee papers. I'll have to go watch that. Some people do the neatest things. And it's not that I don't, it's not that I can't do what they're doing. It's just that I don't always think of it. So it's really neat. I love the internet. I think it's so cool to be able to see what people are doing and get new ideas. And try not to copy what they're doing, but at least use the technique. Okay, there's number 2. Thinking about making some yarn bowls out of some gourds. I have some really nice canteen gourds that are real thick and would make great yarn bowls, I think. I haven't done gourds in a long time because they bothered my allergies. They have mold dust in them when you open them up. Sometimes they have mold dust. And even with wearing a respirator, it got where I couldn't really do it anymore. So I have this box, a huge box of Welburn, that's the name of the farm, gourds. And they're very nice. I don't know how many's in there, maybe 8. And I bought them to make purses. And then I got sick, it started making me sick and I couldn't do it. I mean, that was like right after I got this box of gourds, I had to quit doing it. Once they're open and cleaned and the inside is sanded out, then I don't have a problem. I can work on it. But if I'm doing any kind of cutting, I just really have to watch it. I think I missed somebody. Nope. So I started working with gourds because, how did I start? Oh, I saw somebody, this is back years and years ago, in Somerset Studio who had done some stuff with gourds. And I did a couple little things, like I made a dragon and I don't even remember what else. And then I started making birds. And got interested. I was on a group on, of course then it was Yahoo, a Yahoo group. And they were going to have a gourd festival in Cherokee, North Carolina. So we had a camper, so we decided to go. Because it was going to, it would be a nice trip and be fun to do. So we went there, and while I was there, I saw some gourd jewelry that people had made. And I'm sorry to say, I wasn't very impressed with it. Because it just, it didn't look like much of anything. It wasn't very well done. None of it was very well done. Or they hadn't used nice findings and stuff. So I came home and I thought, I want to try making some gourd jewelry. So I did. I did some stamped images on some gourds and on pieces, cut out pieces in different shapes. And then saw a magazine where it showed beading around some items. So I thought, oh, that would be cool if I beaded around this gourd piece for jewelry. So that's how I learned beading, and eventually learned bead embroidery and bead weaving and all different kinds of things like that. All because I decided I was going to make some gourd jewelry. So I made gourd stuff for a long time and all of that. Got started with beading, and I've been doing paper all along, so I've been doing paper stuff for, gosh, early 90s, I guess, is when I started. So, just as a little refresher on what we did, for anybody who wasn't here and would like to know from the beginning, I took my spaghetti box and cut it in half to make 2 journals. Then I evened up all the edges so that they were straight. And it ended up being, what did I say, 2 5/8 by 5. And the spine, I think it's like 1.5 inches or something like that. The spine is actually the side of the box. So I did that. Then I glued these pieces of, and you could do any glue, you could put anything on there, Put these pieces of, why can I never remember, burlap that had a backing on there, and just glued it to the front and the back, like that. So it's not really interfering much with the fold. Then I poked holes with my little tool, hole puncher tool, and then I did a blanket stitch all the way around, just to use as a foundation for the crochet, because when you're crocheting on something that's stiff like this, it's really difficult to get in there and get your hands around it all. So it's easier just to do a blanket stitch and then go back and do the crochet. It's just single crochet around it, and you just have to determine yourself how many stitches. With the measurements that I used on here with the puncher, it punches them 1/4 of an inch apart. So my formula is that I use all the time is I do 1 single crochet, and then the next blanket stitch I do 2, and the next one 1, the next one 2, and on the corners I do 3 in the corner, so that it goes around the corner. Then I figured out the size for the inside. In this case it's canvas, and I fringed it all the way around so that it would stick out a little bit. And then I have this other piece, which here it is, which will go over the spine. And I think I am going to put that on first and stitch the signatures in through the spine, or through the canvas. And I think I'm going to use some brown buttons on here. So this will fold and be like, sort of like that. And then I'll likely put something on here. I'm not sure what yet. And then it will be all done. And I think I'm going to put something here too, just to cover that glue, because I don't like the way that looks. So that's what we've been doing. Riri, are you calling me Kathy? That's fine. If you want to call me Kathy, I don't care. But I couldn't figure out who Kathy was. It just dawned on me. Oh my goodness. Okay, so there's my 3 signatures. So that's just going to be a matter of stitching these in. Into the book. Hey, yeah, that's going to fit pretty good. And then all these sides that are too big, I will either fold them in to make pockets for, little, like this, make tuck spots, or trim them off, one or the other, because you can see they're too big. But I left them long, so if I decide I want pockets, then I probably will do that. And if I do pockets, then it's going to make it about like this. And that's without, excuse me, any other decoration. So there it is. Thank you all for coming. It's okay, Riri, don't worry about it. Thank you for coming. I hope you come back next week. I'm not sure what I'll be working on, but it'll be something fun. It'll be fun for me, whether it's fun for you or not, but I hope it is. So have a good holiday. Everybody, please be safe and love each other. Bye-bye.